Good morning, Capital City Baptist Church. Scott here with your daily Devo. I have a question for you. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that you check? For most people, myself included, they'll check their phone first. They'll check their Instagram, or their Twitter, or their Facebook. And like I said, that's what I do. I check Twitter first thing in the morning. I mean, if I don't, how in the world am I going to know what to be angry about that day, right? Um, but some people, they actually take their horoscopes seriously. And I have to admit that as a Taurus, it's almost creepy how close the description of a Taurus matches my personality. There are folks out there that live their lives according to what the horoscope says. And this comes from a belief that our ancient ancestors held back in the day. That the alignment of the planets and the stars somehow dictates our fate or our destiny. But Ephesians 1:4 begs the differ, and I'll read it for us. Ephesians 1:4 says, "For he chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight." And we're going to talk about what it means to be holy and blameless next week. But today I just want to hone in on what it means to be chosen. Paul is writing to a very ethnically diverse church comprised of two groups, Jewish Christians and Gentile Christians. And these two groups would have never thought of themselves as the same. And the Jews thought of themselves as excluded from the Gentiles, or more specifically, the Gentiles are excluded from them, and that's what the Old Testament kind of teaches. So you can't really blame them for holding that belief, but Paul here uses Old Testament covenant language to describe a group of believers that included Gentiles. That's a pretty big deal. And not only has this dividing wall between Jews and Gentiles been removed, but Paul says it was God's plan from the beginning that us Gentiles would be included in God's plan of salvation. And if you're listening to this and you are a believer, God chose you to be in his family. What Paul is telling us in this verse is that it's not the planets, it's not the stars that dictate your path or your fate. It's the sovereignty of God Almighty and his divine providence that shows your path and counted out the number of your days before he even hung the stars and the planets in the heavens and set the order in their own trajectory and their own lifespan. There will be a day when I see the stars of the Taurus constellation burn out, and I will be alive to see it happen. And I'll be around long after as I am united with Christ in his eternal kingdom. And if you're listening to this and you're not a believer, God has listed out your days too, and he also gives you an invitation to join his family, that you would be united with him for all eternity too. And I pray that you would accept that free gift of salvation. Well, I pray that you have an amazing rest of your week, church family. God bless.